Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight it's just going to be a quick one. It's just going to be a quick follow-up on the PC from the other night where we had a bad motherboard. So, I have already replaced the motherboard and we are ready to go with the new one. I have already tested it. I know that it definitely works. So we can actually move on from where we were last night. Well, not last night, but on the night of the 27th, I believe it was. So we can finally move on with this. Yeah, good times, eh? Good times. Yeah. Hey Jamie, how you going? Good to have you with us. Oh, I've got the wrong power cord plugged into the wrong PC. That's always good, eh? Let's shut down my PC. Come on. There you go. So we've got our CNVI Wi-Fi card installed. Everything's all ready to go. What's up?
I said there is light.
There is light, yeah. Indeed there is.
Tim James says good thanks to you. How are you?
Yeah, good thanks. Getting into the swing of it again after Christmas. Alrighty, so we should be posting because like I said I tested it and we were all good to go. What else we got? We got yeah.
Darren on YouTube says hi.
Hey Darren, how you going? Good to have you here. So I'm just going to quickly flash a updated BIOS onto this motherboard, and then we'll just go and install Windows and run the stress test on it. So ASRock have this really cool tool called Instant Flash. So you basically download the BIOS, put it on your USB drive or SSD, and you just click on Instant Flash, and it goes and finds the correct BIOS, and you just go and click on Update. Really, really easy. Yeah.
Brent says Jamie's next to get his PC done.
Ah, nice.
Very good.
Alright. So yeah, we'll make sure we're on the latest version of BIOS here. A lot of the updates with BIOS at the moment are to make things compatible with Windows 11. So I'm trying to make sure that I get the BIOS updated on everyone's board so nobody has to go through doing this at home. Because obviously with the BIOS update you can run into trouble if you lose power during it.
Yeah, that's why we've got a UPS.
I mean I've got a UPS, which is an uninterruptible power supply, which is basically a box that's full of batteries, and all of my computers are hooked up through it.
How long will it last?
Well, definitely long enough to complete the BIOS update. But no, they last for a couple of hours. It depends on how much wattage you're pulling out of it and stuff like that as to how long it lasts. If you're just running there on idle, I'd imagine it would last quite a while, like 12 hours plus. If you were gaming or doing something intensive, drawing a lot of power out of it, yeah, it'd be like a couple of hours. But yeah, they're pretty good. People use them for like, like their servers and stuff like that. They don't want the server to shut down because if not, there's a whole lot of bullshit to do to get it back up and running again. So the easiest way is just to make sure that thing never shuts down. So UPS is very handy for that, or for someone like me who regularly has to update the BIOS on computers. Makes complete sense to buy one because realistically a decent UPS will cost you the same as like a mid-range motherboard. So you think it's just, you only have to have it happen once to justify having the UPS. So you just go, all right, let's cut to the chase. Eventually I'm gonna lose power while I'm doing a motherboard update, and I'm gonna brick a motherboard and I'm gonna have to buy a new one. Let's just cut to that, buy the UPS now, and then be insured in the future. That makes sense. Alrighty. Alrighty. Just go and activate the XMP profile on our memory.
Hello, mister. I'm serious and so sweetie pie.
Alright. Alright, let's get this going on. Keep moving tonight. I've got a lot of quotes and stuff to catch up on tonight. Alrighty, there's drive 0 there is our NVMe SSD as required. Yeah.
What's good value for money on this?
What's good value for money UPS?
Oh, UPS. Now I feel like a dick.
So yeah, I mean, really it depends what's on special and what your needs are. I mean,
What sort of you got?
what is it? Can you read it? It's a cyber power one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, personally, I've got a cyber power one. When I was shopping for them, this cyber power, I think it's 960 watt. I found that
950.
no 960. It's something
No.
it's something like that.
980 maybe.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's basically 1,000 watts. It's just slightly under that.
He keeps doing it. Sorry.
Just have to smack him.
I don't want to smack him though.
Well, he's got to learn that claws in the carpet means smack on the bum. You've got to make that association with him.
Maybe I need to get a squirt gun.
Yeah,
Squirt
squirt
with
him.
water.
Get him. Yeah, he won't like that. squirting whenever he goes to.
Do I need a squirt gun, mate? Hey?
He does it to get your attention.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because I get up him, and he stops immediately, and then he walks over to his scratching post, and he wants me to like scratch him while he's scratching the scratching post.
Yeah. Yeah. He does that to me too.
Yeah. Cats.
Weird animals.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I really like about this case is how there's RGB around all of the front I/O, the power button, reset button, USB ports there. I think it's a really nice touch. I think it's a missed opportunity on a few other cases. And so yeah, we're just on the default rainbow setting that the motherboard's putting out. Yeah. I got no money. Yeah. Yeah, well I can't, unfortunately I can't like put money in your bank account, but I do have Zip. That's something I do have that can make it a bit easier to get a PC. That's something I've got to look at next year. Is, well, Afterpay have rejected me twice, so I'm not gonna apply for them again. But I might get some other buy now pay later options.
There was one.
No, well, if
some
Afterpay
lady
doesn't
asked-
want to support me when I'm little. As I grow, why should I want to support them?
Ooh, that's it.
So, Zip were willing to give me a go as a small business. Afterpay are like, nah.
That's kind of weird though, because the hairdressers around the corner where I got my hair done, they do Afterpay.
Yeah.
They've only got one thing.
Afterpay play won't touch you if you don't have a brick and mortar store. That's what I reckon it is. So, never mind. We'll have a brick and mortar store soon, and then
We're still not going to do it.
yeah, we won't. Yeah. Afterpay's the biggest though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Alright, let's just tidy up some of this stuff here. I'm gonna need some internet. Let's make sure our Wi-Fi is working. Sure is.
Tim,
Yeah.
Raz says Tallon will love the lights, the more the better.
Yeah.
Those howling dogs are back.
The howling dogs are back. That's awesome. I love those howling dogs. We got these dogs that howl at the sirens. They try to like make the same noise as the sirens. It's really amusing.
Is what I'm doing helping?
Yeah, it is totally that. Oh, so okay, so I got the Ethernet plugged in, and as you can see, we don't have any internet connection. So that is because the drivers for the Ethernet, Windows doesn't have a compatible driver with the install. So I'm gonna have to connect via Wi-Fi here. Then we need to go in to Windows Updates, and then Windows will find the correct driver online. Just give it a second here. while it's doing that, refresh this. Alright. Microsoft wants to be slow, we'll just move on. So I'll put down some custom desktop icons. You can make these yourself. It's really easy. At some stage I'll upload a video. You can use your own image or select from a whole heap of default ones.
So,
Yeah.
Kirby's in Tallon.
Who is it? Hey Kobe, how you going? Everything all good with the new update? The new motherboard? Should be all going sweet now. Fucking dead motherboards, man. This will be the end of me. The motherboards are one of those things that, like, out of the computer, they're one of the main things that you're going to have problems with, like dying and stuff like that. It's just got more points of failure than most other things, right? Like, look at all the shit that's on a motherboard. So, think about all of those different little circuits there. They're all potential points of failure. So, you look at the motherboard, yeah, it's complicated, got a lot of shit on it. Most likely the problem. If you're just looking at the computer and you didn't know anything and you just wanted to use logic to try to work out what's wrong, you would sort of go, okay, the most complicated part that's got the most stuff on it, it's got the most points of failure, it's probably the part that has the problem. Anyway. What's going on here? Now it's not getting any internet yet. What's going on here? Let's connect to the 2.4 gigahertz channel. Yeah.
Kirby says, yeah, I'm not bad, and it all seems to be well with the PC.
Awesome. Alrighty, that's feeling a bit more responsive. Don't care about Windows 11 now. So ASRock App Shop. If you've got an ASRock motherboard, you should probably have the App Shop app. And no, it's not. It's not really a shop. I think it kind of is. I think there's stuff that you could potentially buy there, but basically it's an easy driver update utility. So if we go into it, like there's apps here that you can download. They're all free, so not much of a shop.
It should be probably called an app center.
Yeah. So here's all the stuff that comes with our motherboard. This is all the stuff that be on the CD-ROM. And so we can just go ahead and update that. And so it will eventually force a restart on us. But we'll just let that roll. Alrighty. We're finally connected by Ethernet.
Yay.
Excellent. Alright. get our updates. ASRock Motherboard Utility. This will give you some options for changing some settings and stuff from Windows without going into BIOS. So I said another helpful app that you'll always see me install on ASRock motherboards. Well, computers with ASRock motherboards, I should say. Alrighty, so we're on to this first restart. It's going to take a little while here, so yeah, if anyone's got any questions, it's going to restart nice and quick, is it? Those Windows updates mustn't have been ready to start the install process, because normally we would get the getting ready for updates screen. But we didn't get that. Oh, look at that. This PC can run Windows 11. So right now I'm not recommending people use Windows 11. Just wait a little while, let other people be the guinea pigs. Let other people have the problems and send off the problem reports and do all that kind of stuff. Then in 6 to 12 months time, then jump onto Windows 11. Because right now there's no need to rush. There's no need to worry. If you're happy with Windows 10, that's completely fine.
Don't like change.
They told us Windows 10 was going to be the last one.
Yeah, that's what I remember hearing, but no. Bias.
Mm-hmm. Installing ME driver. So this is Intel ME, or management engine. It's basically the software component of the motherboard's drivers. So what's that for? Basically, so Windows knows how to talk to all the stuff on the motherboard correctly. Knows how to communicate with the chipset efficiently. Because the chipset on the motherboard, it runs, it marches to the beat of its own drum. Yeah. No, I haven't used. I don't use OBS.
Oh, is that? What is that?
It's just another. It's another streaming
Oh, okay.
app.
Fair enough.
We just use the software that comes with our capture cards.
Pretty easy to use.
Yeah. I could do with a few more functions.
Yeah, I guess. But
We're still learning.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself streaming expert or
Oh,
anything
fuck
like
no,
that.
neither. I'm better at like still stuff, like photos.
Yeah. My wife's a photographer. Me, I'm no actor. like,
No.
like I
He tries.
well,
Ow.
no, I'm certainly not. I'm certainly not going to be like the next hit on Broadway or fucking star in any fucking like
No.
A grade movies or anything like that.
Tim's PC on Broadway.
Oh.
What would that look like?
Hey man, I would go and see that. I would go and watch that over an actual Broadway show. Just saying. Just saying. And I think a few other people who are watching here tonight
Yeah.
would probably prefer to watch someone build a computer and talk shit compared to watch a stupid musical or whatever.
I really don't like Broadway.
How good's that? I got a wife that doesn't like Broadway and shit. So I get to go to New York and I don't have to go to any of the shows. How fucking sick's that? Alright, so it's done with all its restarting there.
Tim,
Yeah.
Diary says you should switch. You should. It is worth the time switching over to
Yeah.
it. Maybe we'll look at that when we move.
It's
It's too
so
much at the moment.
so much time. Alright, let's get a move on here. So BattleNet. Sweet. Hardware monitor. Every computer should have that.
Origin.
Yeah, we'll get there. An Intel build here, so we'll put on Intel's good old driver support assistant. It's a good tool. Easy to use, works well, doesn't error out or anything like that. MSI Afterburner, so we can have a stats overlay with Reaver Tuner and adjust our graphics card fan speed.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, everything I'm installing here is technically optional, but it's all useful software that if I don't install it, there's a good chance that a customer will come to me with a problem and the solution will be to download one of these apps. So I just go and make sure that every computer's got the particular apps that I think are relevant to it. And then obviously, I mean, I'm not your mum, so like, you know, if you don't want any of this, you can just go and uninstall everything. And then it's like completely up to you. It's your PC, you do it how you want. But, I mean, you know, this isn't Windows Vista anymore. It's not 2005. You can have extra stuff installed. You can have things going on in the background. We've all got big multi-core processors, multi-threads. It's okay. It doesn't hurt your performance in any massive way. If it did, I wouldn't install it, right?
Don't speak of Windows Vista.
Oh no.
I don't
We
mind
can talk
that.
about Windows Vista in retrospect. I like look at all the stuff that I installed. Let's go over to our computer. It's really not it really hasn't taken up much space on our C drive with all this stuff. We're talking about 10% of the drive for Windows and what I consider essential apps. That leaves you with 90% of your C drive for other purposes. But to me, that's appropriate. You know, 10% of the drive used for the operating system and other applications and stuff, and then the rest of the drive to be used for installing extra stuff and working and doing your thing. Because I don't ever recommend. I recommend that, you know, ideally for your main SSD, you should never really get beyond about 80%, because they start to slow down. They start to lose performance as they get full. So that's the thing about SSDs. Okay, that's done. Read the tuner should be done. We can go set up MSI Afterburner, or no we can't, because it needs a restart for our display driver, I think. Yep. That'll be just about done. Oh, there we go. Alright, let's clean up a bit of this. Alright, sweet. Let's not get Origin or Steam starting up automatically. We don't need that. Sweet. So this should be it. We should have everything all installed and all updated after this, so we can run some game benchmarks and run the stress test. Not that it's not. I mean, I could almost look at this and go, "Oh, it doesn't even need to do it. Don't even need to do a stress test on this," but I always do, just to make sure. Said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm not infallible. So what if I did something wrong? What if something's not screwed down right? What if I forgot to key in a certain setting? Cat.
Michael's saying really keen on a PC. Yeah, sounds good. Just send me a message. We can sort it all out. That's what I'll be doing after this. So I'll be back on. Be available to talk via instant messaging tonight for a little while, and of course tomorrow. Okay, that's looking good.
So hungry now. Being cold.
So there's sometimes a few cumulative updates there. Yeah.
10.
Yep.
Nick says, hey Tim, Chris, Merry Xmas and Happy New Year. Same to you, Mick.
Hey Mick.
Hope
Thanks,
you had
mate.
A safe and happy Christmas.
Yeah, hope everything
Hope
was
you stay
good.
safe over the New Year and don't catch COVID.
Yeah. Well, I think don't. Mick's not in like he's not in the big city or anything like that.
Good.
Nah, he's
It's a bit scary at the moment, to be honest.
yeah. Well, New South Wales and Sydney is
Yeah, I'm meant
base.
to,
We're meant to be going
down
down
there,
there,
like,
but I don't
next
think that's.
week.
I don't think that's happening.
Nope. Hell no. I'm sorry, but I just can't. I don't want to get stuck down
No.
there.
Country boy. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Very good.
Yeah, we've got a country property as well.
Indeed.
6.75 acres with a nice spring-fed dam and an
Check
orchard.
out Wivenhoe Pocket.
Yeah, Wivenhoe Pocket. We just lease that. We've got a guy who lives there long term.
He's a truckie, so the property's good for him.
Yep.
And he's got a big ass.
Needs
window
spaces
as
to park his truck and stuff. And it's like, yeah, we got a little bit of space.
He's got a Great Dane as well. So
Yeah, Great Dane. So nice, big dog, big property, big vehicles. Works pretty well. Yeah, I don't get any internet reception out there. It's horrible, and I think NBN fixed wireless is all you get out there. So,
Yeah.
alrighty. I'm gonna put in a Windows key.
Tim. Nick says he's got his brother here, father of Ben.
Ah, Jesus.
Very
Okay.
good. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I don't think I can keep track of all these people. I'm
Ben,
hopeless,
you
man.
built Ben a PC too.
Yeah, I know. I know. I can't keep track. I can't keep track of everyone's name. I'm hopeless. I can barely keep track of my friends' names. I'll admit it. I'm the first to admit it, so that's okay.
He
All right.
remembers people's faces. That's good, right?
Okay, so what's going on here? Why am I not seeing our NVIDIA driver?
Tim. Nick says you cook, mate.
Oh shit. No, what the fuck's going on here? Interesting. So after all that, it didn't install that display driver.
Really?
No.
I thought it did. Because
No, it's still showing up on Microsoft Basic Display Adapter. So let's go ahead and install an older driver manually.
Yeah, see, look, I go into Task Manager. See, we don't see a graphics card down there. So I'm just going to install this one here. I don't need GeForce Experience, I just need the driver, thanks. Yes. Make it happen. Okay. And see right here, so like, you know, we thought everything was installed correctly, but for some reason our graphics card didn't install correctly. So we have to do a manual driver installation. And there it goes, look at that. What do you know? Oh no, look at that, here's our graphics card. GTX 1650. Now we can move on with our night. Yay. Oh, MSI Afterburner needs to restart. Let's just give the whole computer a restart, I think. After that. So we should have some stickers and stuff for the young guy, eh?
Indeed.
There we go, there's our correct graphics card. Alrighty, so we'll set up our fan curve here.
You have one of these too, keychain. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so everything's set up now. Let's have a look at some gaming benchmarks. So we'll run Heaven here on just on the out of the box settings, which is high, no anti-aliasing. So if you wanna compare your computer to this computer, you can download this software for free and run it on your PC and see how it goes. It's honestly a great way to make comparisons. That's why we run the same benchmarks here every night on the same settings for in most cases, because then everyone can make a comparison between different PCs.
The numbers underneath the RAM, that's the
Yeah,
frames.
number underneath RAM is the frames per second that it's running at. And you can see the utilization of the CPU and the graphics card, the temperatures, yeah, and power is over here as well. As you can see, even though we've only got an i3, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we've just got an i3. It keeps up quite fine with the 1650 there. You can see the 1650, our graphics card's running at 100%, so we're getting everything out of our graphics card. That's what we want. We want the graphics card at 100%. We don't want the CPU at 100% and the graphics card under 100%, because then we're being held back by our CPU. Considering the graphics card's the most expensive component in the PC, you want to make sure that that is not being held back. You want that running at 100% pretty much all the time, because then you're getting 100% out of it. But yeah, like these temperatures. It's gonna stay nice and cool. Not gonna be an issue there at all. Yeah, I like the track.
Nice This is the town you start out in.
One thing I don't get is that this is meant to be heaven, but there's cannons, and there's also a little wind direction thing with the north, south, east, west. Is north even relevant in heaven? Because, like, you know, when you get to the North Pole, the only way to go more north is to go up and follow the, like, magnetic lines into space. And you could follow, yeah, you could theoretically go to the North Pole, then you could follow one of Earth's magnetic lines, and you could hitch a ride on that, on one of them, which will link up with one of the sun's magnetic lines. Then you can hitch a ride to the sun, and then on one of the sun's magnetic lines, it will link up with other ones to other points in the galaxy, and you can take a ride on the magnetic lines from bigger and bigger objects. Eventually you'll get onto one from Sagittarius star going out towards Andromeda. Imagine just, I like to think about tricky things like that sometimes in space. As you can see, I love space. Yeah.
Seems a bit of a nerd.
I'm a bit of a nerd. Yeah. James Webb Space Telescope was launched. Yay! It survived.
I didn't even know that was a thing until it was launched. It told me about it. I was like,
So if you don't know what it is, basically NASA and
Coolest thing ever.
associate organizations have been building a high-powered space telescope for 25 years. The construction of the unit has taken 25 years. And they finally got it onto a rocket, blasted it into space, and it's now heading off to its location.
In the Lagrange
And
2?
yeah, the sun's L2 Lagrange point, which is basically a gravitational sweet spot that orbits the sun, which we can then put something in orbit around, believe it or not. Trippy. Look up Lagrange points. Anyway. But with the James Webb Space Telescope, what it's gonna allow is it's gonna mean that we can see further back in time. It's gonna mean that we can see stuff that we just can't see at the moment. Like it will make things visible to us that we could sort of only dream of.
Yeah,
We could look
you
at
can see through like giant clouds of dust.
Yeah, we can
that
see
just
through.
Can't see through at the moment.
Yeah, we can see. We can do spectral analysis on the atmospheres of exoplanets that are like, thousands of light years away. That sort of stuff. We're going to be able to see so far back in time that we'll pretty much see almost to the start of the universe when the Big Bang occurred. We'll certainly see like definitely the beginning of population 3 stars, I think, from what I know. Anyway.
Tim, wants to know what's the ideal temp for the PC,
What's the ideal temp? So basically I would really say that would depend on exactly what hardware you're running, because as you get more powerful components inside, they put out more heat. So what I might consider an acceptable level for one PC might not be the same for another. So for this PC, you've got the i3 and the 1650. You won't have to worry about getting anywhere near what the red lines actually, where the red line actually sits for these components. So for the CPU, the temperature limit is set at 100 degrees Celsius. So that's what it's called the T junction. It's set by Intel. Basically, when it hits that level, the motherboard will start cutting the power to the CPU to stop it from getting any hotter. So you'll be what they call power throttled in that situation. Your CPU's gotten too hot, now the motherboard's not putting out the power to the CPU to stop it from catching fire. Basically, it's to stop if it keeps going. That's where it will end up. For a graphics card, you're looking at 83 degrees for the card itself, and you're looking at 100 degrees on the hotspot. You can monitor those temps with hardware monitor and stuff, but in general, just pay attention to the GPU temp. You can turn this overlay on and off, which is just Control F10. Just turns it on and off. Really handy one for gaming. So a lot of people will get a PC, especially if it's like their first they'll have like game on it for a couple of hours, and then they'll touch it and be like, oh shit, it feels really hot. All of them, they think that there's a problem. But really all that's happened is, so you've got this 54 degrees, 46 degrees. After a couple of hours, the temps we're seeing on the components, that heat is transferred out into the metal case. So yeah, after a couple of hours, you're going to touch it and the case is going to be like, 50 degrees or something like that. When you touch it, it's going to be, whoa, that's hot. That feels really hot. But you need to actually look at the internal component temperatures to make a decision on that. You can't just go, oh, I touched it with my hand, it felt hot, so therefore my computer's overheating, because it might not be the case. So like I said, it's just a case of after a few hours of running at temps like this, the heat that's coming off it has had time to transfer out into the case completely. So And so the final one here is normally one we run at 4K, but on like more entry level systems, I run this one on 720p on low settings. Because this is not the sort of setup that you would use for 4K gaming anyway. So we've done the other ones at 1080p, so then I like to do this one as a low res benchmark. It's DirectX 12, the other ones were DirectX 11, just FYI. So the rendering engine's a little bit different, but and this will give you an idea of how it might run when if you ran on 720p on low settings, like you're playing Fortnite competitively or something. Alrighty. Alrighty. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure our cooler is doing what I would expect it to do, and it certainly is. You can see here our temperatures. Alrighty, so we can start our stress test. Hmm?
She requested the cat's food. So there's nothing for him tonight.
Alright. So this one here, this furry donut, is like running a 3D game. And then over here, we're going to stress out the CPU the same way it would be being stressed out if we were to render a video. So we're going to render a video while we're running a game. And we're going to do this for 90 minutes. So we can see our CPU and graphics card being fully utilized. We go over to performance here. You can see 100% there on our CPU. Our 4 cores and 8 threads. So our memory at 3200 and our graphics card here 100% on the 3D engine there. And so basically we let this run while we log all the temperatures here in hardware monitor. And so as we can see here, no issues there at all with this hardware configuration. The GPU temperature there, the red line for that is 83 degrees. And the red line for the hotspot is 100 degrees. And for the CPU, the red line is 100 degrees. So you are considerably below that. You'll never use the CPU as intensively as what we're doing here. The type of instruction set that we're running on our CPU is putting out about as much heat as an instruction set can put out on a CPU. So we are stressing it out more than what it would be used if you were gaming. And so there, yeah, you can see in the 60s for the CPU and 50s or 60s for the graphics card. So ambient temperature in the room like 20 degrees. You could imagine that if you were gaming for 3-4 hours, your PC case would probably be about 40 degrees or so to the touch, but it would not be anything to worry about. You know, even if it was 60 degrees to the touch, it's probably nothing to worry about. That's the thing, they get warm. The more power you draw through them, the more expensive the parts that you plug in, the more heat that gets put out. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. So it gets pretty boring from this stage because I just let this run for 90 minutes. So we'll probably leave it there for tonight because I've got other people I've got to send messages to and get back to and all that. So I want to catch up on that. So thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.